Good evening, Shweta. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hi Sanjay, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good here. How are you?
I'm great.
Shweta, 75, 80 days of lockdown. Give me your experience.
Oh, you have counted days as well. Count, Corona pandemic has created a lot of havoc in everybody's life. And so was my life affected to some extent. Working from home is strenuous. It is very different. Technologically challenging in many ways. Learning a lot of new things. Trying to cope up in a way, I would say.
Are you okay with the new system of distance learning?
As you have framed it and reframed it, distance learning, there is a lot of distance, like there is no human touch into it. So that process is so much dependent on technology and other challenges that the crux of learning is missed. The charm of learning is missed. Half of the time, the parents or the children are trying to fix up something, trying to learn new things, how this device works. And the whole year, the children were taught mobiles are not good, gadgets are not good, don't use them, stay away from them. And now we are telling them, you have to adjust with this new way of learning. So there is a lot of contradiction in our theory itself, what we taught them, what we are practicing right now. It's challenging, I would say.
You are forcing a 4-year-old kid to sit in front of the form and trying to make them understand what ABCD is. How difficult it is.
They learn computers from grade one. So technologically they are updated, but then they are using gadgets for more for entertainment purpose. And when it comes to study academics through computers or laptop, it is quite boring for these kids. Sometimes they do, but once you make it a practice, the child cannot sit for long hours in front of computers. And most of the times, it is the parent who is copying the notes and doing all other activities, and children are just not doing it at all, because we do get that feedback from the parents as well. So I don't think honestly they are doing it.
What will be a kid's mindset uh, when he joins school post COVID?
Kids mindset would be what we train them and how we mold them, because I think that 2020 is a year of, it's a survival year. And we should not pressurize them much for academics and academic excellence. So if we actually mold them into a shape and tell them that there is something that we cannot do, or we can, all we can do is, just be ourselves and spend more time with ourselves and enjoy life, not to focus much on academics, because I'm telling you, this is not a year where academics should come into the picture, specifically with the children who are in the pre-primary way. They don't need, even if they revise what they had learned the previous year, that would be more than enough. So if you pressurize them much, when they come back to school, they will be strained. They'll have more stress. If we leave them on their own, they'll be more than happy.
Shweta, do you think that's possible practically? As in,
We have to do it, Sanjay.
see,
We have
we are living in a world, where we are programming kids to be successful. That's all.
exactly.
Failure is not allowed.
See, now as you all are using creative quotient in your domain, educational domain is also not untouched. We use a lot of creative quotient here as well, and we don't pressurize them much these days. So now success and failure is again becoming a relative term when we deal with these children, and it would differ from person to person how they handle their own specific domain. In my case, I let the children get engaged in other activities, and I focus more on the other aspects of development than specifically going after them for academic excellence. Because then sky is the limit. They can do it next year as well. This year they have to be healthy, they have to stay safe, and they have to stay home. That's all as a mother and as a academician also I feel.
Don't you think there should be a special session for parents on this regard? There is this race to reach some particular goal more than the kids. It's in the parents.
Sanjay, it is always the parents who need more counseling and understanding. than the child itself. If you have to explain and tell anything to the child is going to learn and understand. But parents, my God, Homo sapiens, the most difficult species. So yes, we need to train them. We need to train them that, don't try to see your reflection in your child. Your child is an individual, and he or she will set their own goals. Parents need more counseling and guidance than the children themselves. You're right.
नॉर्मली ऐसा रहता है ना कि मैं वहां नहीं पहुंच पाया, मेरा बेटा पहुंचना चाहिए. आई थिंक दैट थिंग इज स्पॉट ऑन mostly the parents, because even in my kids case initially I couldn't achieve this particular thing, my kid should achieve this. And so even I went after for a while, then I realized no, that thing is never going to happen. I think we should become a little more practical in our approach.
See, the dreams that you had in your eyes were your dreams. It was like your individual goal, or probably your approach towards life. Every individual is a unique creation of God. So I look at children like that only. So I think that in that case, if you stop giving your imagination of what life has to be about, the child is going to use their creative
Right.
quotient to design their life. So I think just let them be on their own. छोड़ दो कभी उनको, let them play in the soil, let them get dirty, let them do all the masti and nakras that you used to have in your childhood. Let them enjoy their days. If you leave them, they are like you and me. We just try to make them very special. You are my daughter, you can't be like this. You're my
Exactly.
son, you can't be like. So you are just trying to impose your expectations on your child, and then expecting, oh my God, I'm not getting desired results. So as a parent, all I can say is just don't try to carry what you want in your head. Let them be on their own and let them blossom. Every child is a unique flower. So let them blossom in their own unique way. Why to complicate it?
Kids give up. They just give up. They set these unrealistic goals for themselves. So much of suicide happening. Kids at the age of 15, 20, they just give up. They lose, and because they are not being programmed to lose. I mean, that's the biggest issue here. So, how are you looking at things? I mean, I think there should be a different approach now.
When the children they come to school, in schools we have one counselor. We usually keep a counselor in the schools. Most of the good schools have one counselor. And individually, as we all feel stress, children also feel the same way. So specifically in this year, I think parents should give more importance to their mental well-being. And if they think that the behavior of the child is little changed, or if the child is getting feeling little annoyed, they should seek a psychotherapist. I think conversation is the key. You need to sit and talk to them. You need to understand. You really need to get down to their level and think from their point of view. So, as a parent, all you can do, and then you can see what the child needs and provide them the help that they need and require. Therapy helps, therapy works. So, 2020 is a challenging year.
Actually, it's a
We'll have
challenge. It's a
to.
huge challenge. So, what are the standard operating procedures? Thinking of when the kids will, when they will eventually join in August, September, October, whenever.
The standard operating procedure would be that only the 25% of the whole class strength would come to school each day. All the children will not sit. There will be a distance between the two benches. And academic syllabus will be very shortened into, like, the
Okay.
portion will not be much to be covered. The examination patterns would be more different. Assignments will be easier and given in terms of activities which they can do on their own. And the more focus will be on health and hygiene and their well-being, physical and mental well-being. I don't think that anybody is going to pressurize these tiny kids.
The scene is, on one hand, schools you'd like to reopen in July. Parents don't want to send the children to school. The school says it will reopen in July, because everything has to come back to track. Fees bhi bharna hai, parents are not sending the kids to school. How are you going to convince the parents? Okay, like everything is normal, the things are safe here. You can send your kid to school
This pandemic has come for the first time.
for the
So
first time.
whatever
Yeah,
is happening is quite new to us as well. We have never been in such situation. So after this outbreak, still we are getting guidelines from the board and CBSE. They give us guidelines to function, which we follow. We are very strictly we follow it in the school. But now when they will be coming to school, so definitely it's going to be mostly the online pattern of teaching only, nothing else. We have no other option. Or if the child comes to school 25, for example, there are 50 children in the class, so 20 will come on the Monday, other 20 will come on Tuesday. So like that, some alternative arrangement shall be made, because all the children cannot be accommodated at the same time. And as I said earlier, academic excellence will have a different standard, and it will be a different way to, the parents would be, and the school will function on some different standards. Now this academic excellence won't be what it used to be once upon a time. Examination patterns will be different. So definitely, the children are going to be under very less pressure. In fact, this is going to be a very play away kind of
yeah.
system.
It's going to be a bit complicated, I feel, because probably 50% might agree to it, 50% might not agree to this whole thing. They would like to wait and watch, and another probably small percentage, probably will take advantage of this. So it is going to be a mix of a lot of things. It's going to be a
It's
difficulty.
definitely going to be a mix of, because parents are also, like you and I. So both of us will have different outlook towards our own
Exactly.
children. So the thing is that sometimes when it comes to parents, they want to send their children back to school, because they think that they are missing on something. And that is where we are trying to tell them that if the child is not coming to school, the process of learning is going on, only the building is not functional. The
Okay.
child is not coming to the building. The premises are closed, but the online teachings are going on. So it is a different, this is how in future also we are going to do. And we are going to have more and more orientation workshops for the parents to make them understand that this is new normal. And we will have to adopt to this, considering child safety. There is no other option.
Shweta, probably in the coming months, with job layoffs, pay cuts, you sitting there as a principal of a school, I'm sure parents are going to be approaching you with a whole lot of requests. That's a difficult. This is going to be very difficult for you.
It's very difficult. You ask me the most difficult question. I don't know how to answer it. It's a very difficult question for
Now,
me
I
to
mean,
answer from this
I'm asking you,
position.
so then the people are going to watch this definitely know. They will know. Okay, we can at least approach, the principal of the school.
I would say that the cycle shouldn't stop. It's a nature cycle, You, what comes to you goes to me, what comes to me goes to someone else. So the
Exactly.
chain shouldn't stop.
That was very cryptic.
If if there is any blockage in the chain, the other person is
Exactly.
going to get
Exactly.
affected.
Because you will face pressure from the management. You're answerable to
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
and if you don't
yeah.
get paid, yeah,
See, if my teachers are not paid, I cannot expect them to design a system for the children and work without money. Everybody has to feed their family, Sanjay.
thank you so much for that. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for coming. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Okay. Nice talking to you. Bye.